Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the laundry room. As you can see, I'm doing just fine. This is Pillar to Post. I am your host, Pete Wall. I spent my morning in the hospital undergoing minor surgery. I wasn't sure if I would be feeling up to doing a podcast today or even covering SmackDown Live's results and giving my review, but as you can see, it's a little after 4. I'm feeling great. I have a little discomfort, but all in all, I'm doing just fine. Now, before we move into anything else, I want to make sure that you guys all know that today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/pillar to post. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So please take advantage of this offer because it helps Pillar to Post. It does. And you get something free out of it. You can't beat that. They've got all genres. They've got all makes and walks of life when it comes to these books. So ideally, it is a good place and a good offer for you to go with. Now, what happened today? Well, I had to go in for, like I said, a minor surgery. I had a skin condition that needed to be taken care of, and they ended up having to do a biopsy to make sure that there's no hinky things going on. Cancer. I don't like saying that word, but I have to, throw it out there. They had to do a biopsy to make sure that I don't have cancer as well. So they removed some bad flesh and then did a biopsy as well. So that, all in all, was my morning. I roughly got out of the hospital around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was in there at 8:30. Everything went fine. Like I said, little bit of discomfort, no pain, and which is surprising. And I have to say this was the best surgery I've ever gone through. Most surgeries, I wake up, I'm freezing cold. They have to stack on pile after pile of heated blankets, and I can't get warm. This time around, I woke up, I was in and out a little bit, but I was fine. I felt good. So, let's see, if you're going to have a good surgery, might as well end up having a good, recovery time as well. And so far, the recovery seems pretty damn good. Now, I wanted to do this podcast today and make sure that you guys did know that I was going to be doing the SmackDown Live review tonight, as well as there was some news here and there. So, we'll call this our Pillar to Post Extra show. Now, today, there's a little issue going on with Matt Hardy again on Twitter, as well as Impact Wrestling. Now, it was more Impact Wrestling tweeting out shit, and Matt Hardy made one small little comment. So let me get into this. So Impact Wrestling creative consultant to head of creative Dutch Mantel posted some interesting tweets yesterday regarding the company and the Hardys. And this is what Zeb Coulter had to say, also known as Dutch Mantel. Twitteroids, keep in mind that we're listening to your comments. You are the ultimate judges of what we do at Impact Wrestling at Ed Nordholm. He went on to say, stories are like pancakes. It always has two sides. Want to hear the other side? Some people won't like it at Impact Wrestling at Ed Nordholm. He continued to say, folks, there's some things I could tell you that you'd SYH, and I'm not sure what that means. I'm not good with the hyphens and the SYH. What the hell? Shit yourself, maybe? You can't write this stuff. Coming soon. Stay tuned at Real Jeff Jarrett. And he continued, Twitteroids, keep in mind that we're listening to your comments. You are the ultimate judges of what we do. He repeating himself here. And then he goes on to say, a fan asked him a question. What's his name? Cyan Blade 84 at Dirty Mantel at Impact Wrestling at Ed Nordholm. I stopped caring when at Billy, at Matt Hardy brand, and at Jeff Hardy brand left. Sorry, Dutch, I still like you though. And Zeb Coulter had this to say, good, I stopped caring when Santa turned out to be fake too. Bastages. Damn them reindeer. And another fan went on to say, the Owl is still holding at Matt Hardy's brand creation hostage. Zeb Coulter replied with simply, who? As in, what the Owl would sound like. Zeb Coulter would go on to say, seriously, very proud of the Impact Wrestling roster. Great athletes, but more importantly, great people. So, one fan responded to Mantell and pleaded that they come to an agreement with Matt and Rebby Hardy, stating that the fans want it and you stand to benefit from the overflow exposure. Hardy responded to the fan, nothing that Impact Wrestling has a chance to come to an agreement, and he hopes that they do the right thing. And this is the exact words of Matt Hardy. But let me take a drink because surgery, if you've had surgery before, you know the anesthetic that puts you to sleep really dries out your mouth. And I got some bad cotton mouth going right now. This is what hashtag the truth teller Matt Hardy had to say. They have a chance to. Hope they do the right thing. I adore most people there. Hope a couple of bad apples don't spoil the bunch for them. Now, you've heard my thoughts about this many times. Yes, I'm sick and tired of reporting on it, but it's going to be top news until we see or get a definite answer as to what's going to happen with the broken gimmick. I kind of side with the Hardys here. If they basically came up with the concept, came up with the gimmick, and yeah, TNA maybe threw some ideas their way to when it came to storylines, but all in all, if the creation was Rebby and Matt Hardy's, then shouldn't it be their creative brainchild? Shouldn't it be their rights to use it wherever they please? On the other hand, you have this policy in companies. Now, officially, there was no trademarks on this name. No one made trademarks of the broken gimmick until after the Hardys left, and that was Rebby Hardy. TNA followed that up later on, which doesn't make sense because once something is patented, I didn't realize you could repatent it under a different name, you know, like someone else patenting it as well. This is where court battles usually come into play. But either way, usually when you are under a gimmick in one company, you're not allowed to take it to other places. Unless it's like the indies where you're allowed to jump from promotion to promotion because they don't own you. And once you sign a contract, all your rights to a character are usually the company's, unless you come up with it and it's agreed that it is yours and you patented it, you trademark it, blah, blah, blah. This has gone on way too long. Okay, everyone was expecting when the Hardys came to WWE, they would be coming under the broken gimmick. That didn't happen. So now we've got this bickering back and forth on Twitter. Yes, it makes for good, for the most part, good for reports and such. But it's a constant thing. We're having to report this stuff almost on a weekly basis, and it is just too much. It's way too much. It needs to end. They need to either accept that they're not going to be able to use the broken gimmick in WWE, or they need to just come up with a new gimmick. Come up with a new gimmick. How hard is it? Okay, yes, it is the best thing you've done. You recreated yourself, and it went over so well. And I'm telling you, if Matt Hardy were able to come up with a new gimmick, it could be stylized after the whole broken universe. And he's alluded to that on Twitter. If he can't be broken, he might just become savage. Well, there you go. You know, and what's TNA going to do with that? Savage is completely different than Broken. So, you know, he could do a very similar gimmick, just under a different name. You know, it might be the Savage universe instead of the Broken universe. You know, just do something. Instead of crying, bitching, and moaning about this already, get over it. Accept the loss. What is TNA going to do with it, really? Honestly, what is TNA going to do with it? They are going to do absolutely nothing with it because it will not work on anyone else. This is to hurt you because you basically walked away from the company and lost them a lot of money. That's it. That is my final thoughts on this. I will keep on reporting on it because it is news, and that is my job on this show, is to report news. But all in all, it's got to end. It really has to end. Now, coming up, I guess Cameron's been in a little bit of a bad spotlight. She is a former WWE diva. I will not call her one of the women wrestlers, because, frankly, she was from that era where they were calling themselves divas, and she really acted like a diva. But she made a comment that's kind of had a little bit of a backlash to it, and it's offended some fans. And the comment was, "I don't date black men." So some of her fans, I guess, took a little bit of action towards her and showed their displeasure for what she had to say. Here is the article. I'm not going to read the original article because that happened, I guess, weeks ago. And I didn't care for it, but there is news and I wanted to do a podcast. So earlier this week, there was a post, TMZ posted a video on TMZ Sports with former WWE star Cameron talking about The Rock possibly running for president and why she doesn't date black men. Now, I guess there was some backlash, some comments made after receiving, and the fans just not happy with what she said. So Cameron says she has dated black men in the past, but like everyone else, she has a preference. She says her comments weren't meant to be derogatory, as she believes everyone is beautiful in their own way. Cameron says we may see her with a black man down the line, and she feels she was unfairly criticized after the first video. Cameron says she was branded a racist, but is far from racist because she loves everyone and rolls with people of different races. Now, I don't know how that is being racist if you say you don't like dating black men. I frankly don't have a preference. I'm married, but even when I was single, I didn't have a preference on the color of someone's skin. I didn't have a preference on someone's accent or religion or whatever. It didn't bother me. Everyone has their own beauty in their own way. Everyone has their own beliefs and structure, and and to me, everyone fascinates me. They do. They can be, an Oriental woman. It can be a black woman. It can be an Italian woman. It can be anyone. It doesn't bother me. Now, I can see why some fans would look at her and say, like, I don't like dating black men. But jumping the racist card right away, I don't understand that. She's black herself, so her saying she don't like dating black men, well, that's her preference. Like she said, she's allowed to do whatever she fucking pleases. Now, if I didn't like dating, a black woman, I'd probably be considered racist. But I find black women beautiful. I find white women beautiful. I find Oriental women beautiful. I find everyone beautiful in their own right. And frankly, I'd roll with anyone. I don't really care. But I'm happily married, so I can't. And I wouldn't. But the racist card, it gets played way too often. I'm going to side with Cameron here. She's allowed to have her preferences. Jump into the racist card right away. People need to smarten the fuck up. Really, they need to smarten the fuck up, because not everything someone says is made with a racial slur or racial thought or what have you. It is just a way for you to be an asshole and call someone a racist. So drop the whole fucking racist card for a change, because frankly, everyone's tired of hearing it. I don't believe in a race. I believe in humanity. Okay, I'm a humanist. I don't call anyone a N word. I don't call anyone whatever. I'm not racist like that. I believe that everyone has their own beauty and lifestyle, and you either accept it or you don't. So, to me, I'm a humanist. You know, I don't believe in religion, but I don't condemn anyone that has a religion. It's all preferences, and when people can finally accept that about others, that not everyone has to be the same, not everyone has to look the same, act the same, what have you. People are going to be a lot happier. Drop the racist card for a change, people. Smarten the fuck up. Okay? It's 2017. Get over it. Came across an interview with Samoa Joe, and he talks about who he wants to face in the WWE. He talks about Seth Rollins, and also what makes the perfect heel and having to adjust to the WWE. But before I get rocking on this one, I'm going to need to hydrate. So, Samoa Joe recently spoke with the Asbury Park press to promote last night's WWE Raw in Newark. Let's see, I've got highlights from the interview here. So, for wrestling fans, you have been on our radar for years at this point. Only in the last couple of years have you been working for the WWE, first in NXT and now on the main roster. For someone as skilled as you, what have been some of the biggest areas of adjustment to working in the WWE style? Samoa Joe had this to say. He goes, I think synchronizing your performance and what you do in the ring with some incredibly talented people on production side of things. There's a dedication and an intricacy to the production style that you find in WWE. And for me, it was just the minor adjustments. I've obviously worked in television for a while, so for me, it wasn't quite a big adjustment. But especially having the benefits of being in NXT and seeing the coaching and the experience that a lot of younger guys go through as they make their way up to the main roster. You see a lot of these nuanced things that you really will not deal with anywhere else in the world in any company, no matter what the size. There's definitely a higher premium put on the spectacle aspect of what you see in WWE. So I think those are definitely major adjustments for anybody, no matter where you come from. You're in the midst of a great run. This is the question to pose to him. You're in the midst of a great run opposite Seth Rollins, who is someone you're dying to work with in the near or distant future. Whether that's someone you've worked with previously in another company and haven't worked with in WWE, or someone you've never gotten in the ring with before. Samoa Joe had this to say, in a lot of ways, I think it would be easier to provide a list of people who I'm not excited to get in the ring and go around with. I mean, the answer is probably more people than I can list in this certain amount of time. At the top of that list, obviously, are the John Cenas of the world, Randy Orton. Of course, me and AJ Styles, we battled for years back and forth, so anything involving him, I'm more than compliant with. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, the list really is quite long, and hopefully I'll get to a lot of those places in the coming years. He's asked, from your standpoint, what would you say makes a perfect heel in sports entertainment? And this is where I need to hydrate. Samoa Joe says, I think to elicit negative emotions out of the crowd, you almost have to have a moral high ground to stand on. It's just that his way or interpreting that moral high ground is slightly skewed and or sadistic and wrong. So I think those are some heel elements. Something that your heel has to say in the ring is he has to say something that resonates with the audience, where the audience knows that they are wrong for feeling a certain way, but they'll occasionally embrace that way for thinking. or of thinking. Those are some of the major things. I think he has to have a point. It's just the way he goes about enforcing that point is probably not the best way. So those are his thoughts on being a heel, his thoughts on who he'd like to face. I'd like to see him face John Cena. I love seeing him in the ring with AJ Styles. I don't know about Randy Orton. Randy Orton has really been bothering me for the last few years. Even though I haven't been watching wrestling, I've seen what he has done, and he hasn't elevated himself. He hasn't changed himself. He's still Randy Orton, but it's boring. He needs to tweak moves. He needs to, he needs to evolve a little bit. He doesn't need to become a different person. He just needs to evolve. I'd love to see him face Brock Lesnar. Everyone wants to see that match. Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar is the top match everyone wants to see right now with this guy. I don't blame him. I think he is the only one that would make it a legit looking match. It would be a downright brawl. Now, I've got news that WWE reportedly has signed a female referee. Now, not counting the times they put wrestlers in black booty shorts and fitted striped tops, we don't see a lot of female referees in WWE, or pro wrestling for that matter. Now, that might be about to change. However, as Square Circle Sirens is reporting, WWE has signed independent wrestler Kennedy Brink with the intent of using her as an in-ring official. The 25-year-old Baltimore native has wrestled for her home state's Maryland Championship Wrestling, also known as MCW, also Ring of Honor, Shimmer, Shine, and many others, including a couple enhancement matches with NXT, where she was billed as Kennedy Lewis. She's worked as a referee for NXT on Florida house shows on a couple of occasions as well. Now, it'll be interesting to see if the Dwayne Gill, aka Gilbert, trained winner of the 2014 Reed Flair Scholarship, follows the Drake Wirtz, also known as Drake Younger, path and refs full-time, or if she and WWE also see a future for her as a wrestler. Also worth pondering, if the company plans to use her as an official for women's matches only, something they may be about to have more of, given the signings for this summer's women's tournament show, or if she might officiate men's matches as well. With WWE, anything can happen, anything, but I don't think they'd be willing to put a woman in a men's match as a referee, because there could be an accident and no one wants to see a woman get hurt at the hands of a woman for whatever reason. It might be an accident, it might be storyline. No one likes seeing that happen in real life or in storyline. I do want to say though, seeing her picture, she looked like one tough bitch. And by bitch, I mean with all the respect in the world, as a woman's wrestler, she looks like she would kick some ass. Now, we've got rumors for the day, and some of these you guys very well know that it is a work. Like the Braun Strowman surgery that he went through, and they are giving it a 6-month time frame for Braun Strowman's recovery from elbow surgery. And they say it's a work. And I agree, because they have said so much. It's like 2 months tops that he'll be gone. Second rumor, there is real heat between Bully Ray and Randy Orton going back to the early 2000s in a tag match where Orton, Ray, and Batista were all injured. Now, there's an article out there that Batista did where he talks about this heat from the 2000s. And him and Orton had patched that up. They've buried that in the past. This is all about the Twitter bullshit that went on about the whole dive comment. Someone posted an article about how independent wrestling has become this, kind of flippy floppy thing, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. And hashtag dive was added at the end of the comment. And everyone's been kind of going off. And yes, Orton started the whole shit with stupid comments. Obviously drunk or stupid. We all know he's a prick. So I'm not going to go on about that part. Also, another rumor. Scott Hall was hospitalized for chest pain after an indie show in the UK on Sunday. He was released but allegedly flew home against doctor's orders. And all I have to say is, Scott Hall, hope you're doing better. I'd hate to see something bad happen because you're taking risks like that. Should not have flown home, especially when you have chest pains. Not a good idea to fly at that time when you're going through that. I hope you're doing fine. Keep on doing what you're doing. Please continue to stay on a safe path. Another rumor of the day. The current plan for release in the WWE Women's Tournament on WWE Network is 3 or 4 episodes at a time, says PW Insider. Me, I'm just waiting for it to come about. I'm waiting for the summer when the Women's Tournament kicks in. Also, Hiroshi Tanahashi was injured during the last night of New Japan's War of the Worlds tour with Ring of Honor, per Wrestling Observer. Looks like a bicep issue, but the severity isn't known. That is your rumors of the day, and really not much I can comment on there. You know, Randy Orton's a dick. He'll always be a dick. He'll continue to be a dick. You know, he looks at it, he's getting paid. He doesn't need to try. Braun Strowman has no time for excuses and pity parties, and I love this guy when it comes to that. It's not quite your tears hydrate me, but this Instagram post from Braun Strowman discussing his recent elbow surgery and how he's approaching this comeback is pretty good. Well, maybe not if you're old school and or really like it when guys and gals adhere to kayfabe at all times. But then, what are you doing on Adam Scherr's personal Instagram account? And how do you know the monster among men isn't into positive self-talk as a means of motivation? This is what the big man had to say. Sometimes life throws you unexpected obstacles. Things will get in your way, let me redo that. Things will get in the way of your dreams. They always do. How you handle your setbacks is what makes the difference. It could sit around and think, or he goes, I could sit around and think, what could I have done to avoid this? What did I do to deserve this? Why? I say to hell with that. There's no time for excuses and pity parties. Every day is a day I get the opportunity to grow stronger. Every day I push myself further because I refuse to let this slow me down. Nothing can stop me from being the best. I'll blow through this like I have every setback life has ever thrown at me and continue to own my destiny. This is my life and I tell what and when I'm going to do things. Hashtag nothing can stop me. Hashtag unstoppable. Hashtag Braun Strowman. Hashtag monster among men. And he should have added hashtag your tears hydrate me, because fuck, I love that hashtag. I do like the positivity of this big bastard. I do. Braun Strowman, I didn't really like him when I first seen him, especially when he was part of the Wyatt family. And then when they started producing and storylining him the correct way. Just kind of like they've done with all monsters in the ring. His size, his look. And it works with big guys like that. It always will work with big guys like that. Having him as a third string, fourth string in the Wyatt family just is not going to do it for a guy like him. He needed to go out on his own, and he needed to be built up like a monster. They did a great job with him, and I hope when he comes back, he goes on that rampage all over again and destroys every motherfucker in that ring. John Cena has an interesting theory about fan reactions to Roman Reigns. Could he be right? Who knows? Let's find out. With Braun Strowman on the injured list for somewhere between 1 to 6 months, there's a slight risk we might stop arguing about Roman Reigns for a while. the debate about crowd reactions to the big dog was exacerbated by Strowman getting cheers for overtly heelish acts like assaulting a dude strapped to a gurney, or Reigns being booed for getting revenge on the monster among men. Now, without Braun, maybe we'd be forced to just watch Roman have good matches with guys like Finn Balor. I want to say this. He has great matches with Finn Balor, but I don't want to see him just wrestling Finn Balor. That'd get fucking old quick. Look at The Miz and Ambrose. That's gotten old. These guys do the same match over and over and over again. Nothing new, except for maybe a disqualification by, a low blow or whatever. Now, never fear, wrestling fans on the internet. As usual, John Cena is here to rescue us by giving us reasons to talk about Reigns and why fans respond to him the way they do. Here's Cena's theory as explained in a recent interview with SI.com. And he goes, "I'm not going to take anything away from Roman. He handles his business with the utmost professionalism. He's doing it on his own watch. He's not one of those guys that comes over to me and asks me, what happens next? He's doing it his way, and I think that's the best way to do it. He's not trying to be the next John Cena, but he is being the only Roman Reigns, and that's why it's met with so much adversity. I can tell you from first-hand knowledge, because I know I wasn't trying to be Stone Cold or The Rock. I was John Cena. That was met with adversity from people looking for the next Stone Cold or the next Rock. That's what creates the dichotomy, the polarizing environment. So because we want Roman to be the next John Cena, I don't, or some other top guy template we think he should be following, we dislike him. Just like we hated on Cena because he wasn't trying to be the next Rock or Stone Cold. What do you guys think? Is that the reason why you guys don't like Roman Reigns? Because frankly, I don't like Roman Reigns the guy. I hate Roman Reigns the character, the guy that's being pushed down our throats, the guy that's being given every opportunity but not really having to do much to earn it. Yes, he has been putting on better matches with Braun Strowman. He puts on a good match against Finn Balor. But obviously there is something wrong with him, because if there wasn't, he wouldn't be needed to be forced down our throats, obviously. Now, I can't complain about recent matches and recent storylines because they have worked. I liked it being able to actually see him sell moves instead of just getting up right away and being the Superman bit. It looks good. He sold Finn Balor last night on Raw. Enjoyed it. He sold against Braun Strowman. It is good. So lately I haven't had too much to bitch about it. It's just when they give him this Superman complex where he comes back from anything. He's basically above The Undertaker at this point on comebacks and not selling. Although Undertaker was built that way. He was built to be able to absorb pain and keep on coming at someone, kind of like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. That is what they were going for. But with Roman Reigns, it was just this whole Superman effect, and he could just keep on coming at you. It was bullshit. We didn't want to see it. So, for today, that is all. I want you to remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Smash the hell out of that like button. Remember, audibletrial.com/pillar to post. Get your free audiobook and your free 30-day subscription or membership to Audible. Also, all my information below, how to get t-shirts, how to contact me. Leave a comment. It's time. We've been at this long enough. You guys don't need to be afraid. I will answer every question. Grow a set and post. Comment on these videos. Tell me what you think of, what's going on in the wrestling business today, and ask me anything you want. This is what I'm here for. Have a good one. I will see you tonight after SmackDown Live with my results, reviews, and my reactions. And I'm hoping that I'm feeling a little bit better than I did last night, because last night I didn't really do a very good job of reviewing the show. and I'll probably see that on my status when it comes to views. But it is what it is. You know, I'm sad to say I was nervous going into surgery today, and I was not really in the mood to do a podcast. But today I'm doing good. My spirits are up. I'm not hurting. I'm just a little bit, uncomfortable. So all is good. I will see you tonight.